Real Estate 101. What happens on offer day and how does the whole process work? Hey everybody, I am Jonathan Lerner of eXp Realty and I am your local Vancouver and Greater Vancouver area realtor. And if you like the content of this video, please like, please subscribe. I got a lot more videos for you. All right, let's dive in. So you've been touring around with a realtor and you've been taking a look at different properties and you found a place that you absolutely love. It's within your budget and you are ready to make an offer. What happens? All right. Number one, hopefully you have chosen a realtor that knows the market, knows the area, and understands the value of what that place is, because there's a very, very important factor to know that what a property is listed for is not necessarily what its actual market value is, meaning what somebody will pay for it. The listing price, what you see online, is a marketing number. It is there to try and attract people to come and see the property. Sometimes it is priced very in line with the market, sometimes it is very low, sometimes it is higher than the market. And so you really have to be with your realtor and have them explain to you, where does this property land on that spectrum and where should an offer land based off of the surrounding area, similar properties, what's happened in the market recently, where's the trend heading. And there's a lot of factors that come into play when you are making an offer and looking at what the realistic value of the property is and what its value is worth to you, because that's also plays into it. Once you've done that and you've written an offer, you're gonna get this full package contract with a whole bunch of legal information. Hopefully, again, your realtor sent that to you in advance, so you've read through that. There's a whole bunch of legal jargon that if that's not your thing, you want to take the time to read that in advance before actually submitting an offer, so you know what it is that you're signing and what it is that you are committing to. On that, you're going to have all your info on there and you're going to have your offer price, right? The value, the offer that you want to make to buy this person's property. And typically here in BC, the most common deposit is 5% deposit as earnest money of saying that, hey, I want this place, you can trust this, that if I back out, basically you can take that deposit, is in essence what that is. You need to have that cash available very quickly, because sometimes you might need it that next day, or maybe you have subjects in the contract that will be a week down the road. So on to subjects. In the contract, depending on whether there is heavy competition or not, hopefully not, you'll have the opportunity to add subjects into your contract. Now, the most common ones are going to be subject to financing, making sure that you are approved by the bank, by your mortgage broker, from the lenders to be able to get the mortgage that you need for this property. All right, number two is going to be subject to inspection, being able to bring an inspector to come in and view the place, find out what all the deficiencies are. Even if it's a brand new place, there's going to be deficiencies. So pointing out what all those little things are and finding out hopefully what some maybe big ones are that you need to be aware of before going into this. All right, then you're also going to have subject to insurance, making sure that you can get insurance. That's usually the quickest, easiest one, but it's also allowing you to go to the insurance company and find out if there's any red flags in the building or they've had prior insurance claims that you need to be aware of, that maybe you don't want to go into that building and then all of a sudden there be an issue with the building and now you cannot get insurance for that. You have to know that ahead of time, all right? And then the last one that is one of the top four most common ones is reading and approving the Strata Documents. Now this is if you're in a condo building or townhouse complex. This can be anywhere from 150 to 500 pages of documents for you to read through. So you want to give yourself enough time to read through that. And it's going to be all the minutes of the strata, hopefully depreciation report of the deterioration of the building, what to expect over the next 30 years in terms of repairs and fees that come along with that. Engineering report looking at the status of the building and other documents that go along with it. So those are going to be your four most common, and then there's a million others that can be added in there. Typically for residential property, your subject renewal period is going to be anywhere between 5 days to 7-10 days. That's gonna be pretty typical and average. In a seller's market, sometimes you're left with having to do some of that due diligence in advance before your offer goes in. So in a subject free, hopefully you have the ability to be able to do those, get your financing organized, know that you can absolutely afford it, you've done the insurance check, you've had an inspector go in before your offer, and you've read through all the Strata documents in advance of your offer. So it's not that you're not doing those things that you would normally put in as subjects with your offer. It's just that hopefully you have the opportunity and the time to be able to do it in advance. You've got your offer price, you've got your deposit in there, you've got your subjects in there. The main final point is finding out what do you want the completion and possession dates to be. So completion is basically when is the property going to be officially transferred into your ownership. And then this is also very much a negotiation point, because maybe the seller or you need specific dates to be able to move in or move out, all right? And both parties are gonna have to agree to whatever that end date is. And there may be negotiation that comes in play that maybe you need a place in the next 3 weeks and you're like, I gotta go. Typically that's not gonna be good for the seller, so they're gonna compromise and say, okay, we'll go with your short-term completion date, but we want more money to do that because we got moving costs and we got other things that we have to do. So there's a whole bunch of negotiation that happens. So you think about that as you're drafting up the contract. One other aspect on that is you put the offer is open until X day and time. So on the contract, it will say, hey, we're sending in this offer, here's all the details, but we're leaving this offer open for X period of time. Which means that the realtor has to take that offer to their seller, their client, and present it to them, and they need to give an answer back to you as the buyer within that specified period of time. Now, you gotta be reasonable with it as well, trying to find out what the seller's situation is. You know, if they're out of country, you're gonna need a longer window for that acceptance period. As soon as that time period elapses or expires, if you set it for 7 p.m. and as soon as it becomes 7:01 p.m., that offer is null and void. It does not exist, and the seller cannot accept or reject it. So very, very important also to know. Now, you submitted the offer, all right? You've got your price, your deposit, all your subjects on there. You got the completion and possession dates, and you've got when your offer is open till. You do all your signatures on there, you send it to the seller. 3 options that can happen. They can say no, they can say accept it, yes, or they can counter offer you and send back, okay, I've seen your offer, I want to go into a negotiation with you, and this is what I'm bringing forward now to counter your offer. When you receive that back, then you can say no, you can say yes, I accept, or you can counter back again. There's so much that goes into the negotiation side of things, so you want to make sure that you have a realtor that is working with your best interests at heart. They are experienced, they know the market, they know the buildings, they know the area, and they've also done some really, really key important things in terms of contacting the seller's realtor, finding out as much information as they can about them to be able to utilize that in our negotiation and make your offer even better, or know what the strings are that you can pull to be able to have things go more in your favor. All right. So you've gotten the offer, you've maybe countered a couple times, and now there's finally an acceptance. From the acceptance point, typically, most often, your deposit is then going to be required either within 24 hours of acceptance, if there's no subjects, right? If you had subjects, 99% of the time, your deposit will be required within 24 hours of your subjects being removed, okay? So now you've gotten your offer accepted and you had subjects in there, and you've given yourself 7 days to be able to have those subjects sorted out and organized. Now what you're gonna do, if it's a strata property, you're gonna go through and read all the strata documents and read them in depth, find out what's going on with the building, how well they've done the maintenance and renewals and everything else going on, where their budgets are at, how well they use that budget, etc. You're gonna book an inspector to come in. You're gonna check with insurance, make sure there's no issues with the building, and then of course you're going to give the bank the accepted offer and say, hey, will you approve me to be able to get a mortgage for this property? And what they're gonna do on their end is they're going to have an appraiser take a look at the property, and they're going to say, we believe that the property is worth this amount, so we're willing to give you this amount. If you're in a crazy market like 2020, 2021 was, where there was lots of multiple offer situations, if your subject-free offer went above what the market value was, the bank would only approve you for a mortgage of what the market value was. Anything over and above that, you'd have to pay out in cash whether you had or not, you'd have to find a way to be able to get that cash to pay for that difference. Okay, so really important to know those different facets and how the offer process works. So you're in the subject removal period, you remove those subjects, then you sign a document that says, hey, we have removed all the subjects that we put into our original offer, and this offer is now firm. That's basically the language for it, which basically means this offer is a done deal. We just wait until the completion date, which on average is gonna be about a 60-day window. Sometimes it'll be a few weeks, and a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months, all depends on what you and the seller have negotiated. Now, right before the completion, you're gonna be sitting down with either a lawyer or a notary, and then they're gonna organize who owes what and what the final adjustments are in terms of the finances and the pricing and the mortgage and all that side of things. And they are gonna be signing all the documentation to be able to transfer the title of the property from the seller over to you. And then possession day will typically be the day after completion, a couple days after completion. Sometimes it's longer, again, depends on what you agree on with the seller. And then you now have your new home. That is essentially the 30,000 foot bird's eye view of what the offer process looks like when you're going to make an offer on real estate. All right, if you enjoyed this video, if you got some good value out of it, please like it, please comment down below, and absolutely subscribe. We got lots more videos coming your way of what is it like to buy, especially in the Vancouver, Greater Vancouver area market, and different neighborhoods, where to go to take your kids, where to go to enjoy some drinks or coffee, and also what just the real estate process is like and where the market is going. All right, have an amazing day, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe below, and we'll see you in the next video.